Hey Swifties! Welcome to a brand new episode of Swiftie School, where together we walk Clownelia Street covering the latest news and Easter eggs from our fearless leader, Taylor Swift. I'm your host, Reagan Bailey, and it is enchanting to have you here. Now that we're out of the woods, let's get into today's episode.
It's another great day to be alive at the same time as Taylor Swift. Consider this our town hall meeting because we have a lot to get into. Now, as always, this podcast is just an expression of my thoughts and opinions, and while I would love to be associated with Taylor Swift or Taylor Nation, I am not. Now, I have sad news for us. We unfortunately only have 40 more Eras Tour shows. Dun, dun, dun. Can you even believe it? Now, as I was studying this incredible graphic by Brian West, if you're unfamiliar with Brian West, he is a Taylor Swift reporter for USA Today. He has this great graphic, I'll have it linked for you guys in the show notes, breaking down all the different Eras Tour shows, and it's just like a very nice visual. But I was studying the graphic, I was like, okay, we've confirming we have 40 shows left. This is terrifying. But interestingly enough, we have 13 cities, 40 shows in 13 different cities, which is very interesting. I don't know if that means that we need to be on watch for the next set of shows. I don't know if that means nothing, but it's something. Do with it what you want. Now, we've clearly clowned about a lot of the wrong things. So today, I kind of wanted to give us some hope for the future as much as I can. Really muster up my manifestation skills, if you will, kind of coming off the tail end of the last few shows. So we had the epic mashup of Mary's song with So High School, Everything Has Changed, and I'm calling this kind of like the Travis anniversary mashup because 1 year ago from the last show, Travis attended the Eras Tour. This man had a friendship bracelet and a dream, and I love that for him. I think we should all take a note from his book that you can never shoot too high. He shot for the stars and then he landed on the moon, quite literally. So that was his, I learned this today, that was actually his 13th show in attendance. How kismet, how Taylor is that this man has attended 13 Eras Tour shows. On his 13th Eras Tour show, which of course at this point they are deep into their relationship, she sings, "You'll be 87, I'll be 89, I still look at you and those stars align, ma. Ooh, such a good mashup, truly. Now, like I said, I wanted to give us something to look forward to, and there's not much. I'll be honest with you. Obviously, we have the 40 shows, but the biggest thing on my radar is football season because, hello, we are now football fans. And I wanted to do some digging. I appreciate that the NFL kind of lays out their schedule, the more I learn, into weeks. So basically, we have like preseason, and then we've got week 1, week 2, week 3, et cetera, et cetera. So taking a look at football season, let's just dive in. And format for today's episode, by the way, consider this to live for the hope of it all. I'm giving you some hope. I'm giving you a sprinkle of sparkle dust. And then we're going to get into your guys's. I asked you guys over on Instagram what your predictions were for the rest of the year. So I'm going to give you mine. I'm going to give you the cold, hard facts, the cold, hard dates, if you will, that we for sure can look forward to with football season when it comes to Travis and potentially Taylor attending. Some of the dates we're planning for, some chitter chatter beyond that, and then we'll get into your thoughts and opinions. So let's just dive into football season. Preseason, we have 3 Chiefs games. Those 3 preseason dates happen to be August 10th, August 17th, and August 22nd. Now, August 22nd is really the only date Taylor could possibly attend. This is following the end of the London stint, her second London stint, which I will be in attendance at. So she cannot attend the first 2 preseason games. I don't know how integral that is. Are preseason games important? I need the NFL girlies to step in and educate us. So she cannot attend the first 2 because she has show dates, but she can attend August 22nd. So if we were to see Taylor make her NFL 2024-2025 season debut, it could potentially be following the London conclusion. Now, I do want to talk about London and the London shows because this is kind of the last break that she'll be taking before the conclusion of the tour. So she does 5 shows in London. She's doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm attending on Saturday. Sunday, she's taking a break, and then she's doing Monday, Tuesday. So Tuesday would be her final show, and then there is a game on the 22nd. So what is that, Thursday? From there, she takes, it's kind of like the full month of September, the first 2 weeks of October, and the end of August. So what is that? 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks off? So she takes 7 weeks off, and this is where things could get really fun for us. going into football season, and this is what I think we could really look forward to. So during the Eras Tour break, it's kind of iconic how well this lines up, because Taylor could, hypothetically, I don't really feel like she's going to be having rehearsals during this time. I genuinely feel like she's giving her team and production crew a break. Like, at this point, they're 100 plus shows in. I don't think they're going to be like revisiting rehearsals unless we're all clowning here, all's fun and clowning and poetry, unless she has an announcement and some sort of drop of something, let's say, I don't know, Reputation, debut, and she's going to add some sort of, I don't know, part 3 to the Eras Tour for the final leg. I think the chances of that are incredibly slim. I'm giving it like less than 13% chance of that being the case. So let's just say she's free, she's available, she's roaming the US, if you will, hanging out with her man like one does. She could attend all of these September games, which would mean going into week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4 of the Chiefs' schedule. Those September dates would be September 5th, 15th, 22nd, and then October 7th. I don't know what this means. I've heard it before, so I know it's a thing, but the Chiefs have a bye week for week 6. I think that just means like they're not in the schedule for that week. So they have a bye week for week 6, which the reason I mentioned week 6 and being a bye week is this is convenient for Taylor, because Taylor actually returns to the final leg of the Eras Tour on October 17th. And what is that? Miami, I believe. October 17th, she returns for her final stint. And it's convenient timing because that's a bye week for Travis. And Travis's next game is not until October 20th in San Francisco. So hypothetically, if Travis is available and able to, he could attend that first show back for the final stint of the Eras Tour. And the reason that I'm harping on the first show back is, unfortunately, fast forwarding to the end of football season, or towards the end, I should say. Not really towards the end. I'm lying. Just towards the end of the year. Towards the end of the year, we have the last Eras Tour show happening in Canada on December 8th. Unfortunately, Travis will miss that show because he does have a game. So my thought is maybe he'll attend that first show back of the last leg to show his support. Maybe he'll try to swing some of the other dates. Who knows? My question to you guys is this crazy? I don't know. Would she add another show to cap off the tour, or another couple shows to cap off the tour so that he could attend the final show? Or are we moving too close into Christmas holiday time then? I don't think she would make her team and production and everybody extend beyond 12/8, especially if they're planning already, to be back with their families by then. I think it would be cruel, Summer, of her to do that. I don't know. I mean, as a greedy fan, of course, it would be amazing if she came back to LA or Nashville or something, MetLife, for like one big hurrah. I just don't see it happening unless she felt very passionately about Travis attending. I don't know. Who knows? Don't shoot the messenger. Now, kind of taking it back, the only 2 weeks sort of before the tour ends that she will miss is week 7 and week 8 of the Chiefs season, but she can make it to week 9 and 10. So looks like we hopefully will be seeing a lot of Tavis content come football season. And I don't know about you guys. I am very much a pumpkin spice girly. I don't know. I feel like I cheat on the seasons every time a season comes about because I'm like, ooh, I love summer. It's my favorite. Woohoo. And then fall comes and I'm like, oh my God, I love fall. Pumpkin spice. Give me everything. And then winter comes and I'm like, ho, ho, ho. We're keeping the tree up till February. The Christmas lights up till February. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I like all the seasons. I just like cute, fun things. And I love how the seasons bring about all the cuteness and the funness. I know that's not a word. Don't come for me. So anyways, I could see it now. It's cozy. It's fun. We've got a nice pumpkin spice latte. It's a Saturday morning. You and your significant other are deciding you're going to go walk to the neighborhood bar in town and you're going to go watch the Chiefs game. And it's going to be a fantastic day. By 2 p.m., you've had maybe your latte, some appetizers at the bar, maybe a tater tot, seemingly ranch, if you will, a chicken tendy, if you're feeling frisky, and maybe a beer, if that's your thing, maybe an afternoon margarita. I don't know. I mean, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. And then you're going to go home, you're going to cuddle up, watch a movie together. Maybe you're going to go on a nice romantic walk, cook a little dinner, a little lobster, steak, pasta dinner. And it sounds like a fantastic day. So if that gives you any hope for the future, that's what I'm clinging on to. Not that I'm not enjoying summer, but you guys know what I mean. Now let's go ahead and transition to some of the dates that we're clowning for. Oh, by the way, before I get into that, I do want to tell you guys, I was kind of curious when I was talking about Taylor adding shows or tour dates. My thought initially was, will she add more tour dates or would she not want to give Ticketmaster any more business? And I kind of felt like, I don't think she wants to give Ticketmaster any more business, which then led me down the rabbit hole of researching when an artist lists their tickets through Ticketmaster, which I would say 99% do they have to pay Ticketmaster to sell or list their tickets? And a light Google search told me that no, Ticketmaster doesn't necessarily charge artists to list their tickets for sale. They basically do like a face value exchange. But where Ticketmaster does make their money is they collect a service fee from the total selling price of the tickets, which we are all heavily aware of. And our wallets have taken a hard hit because of those lofty fees. So anyways, little context for you there. I don't think that she's adding more dates. I think that ship has sailed. But if you're going down that Clownelia Street route, I fully support you. Now, going back to the dates that we're clowning for, I wrote this one, it's unlikely, but a lot of people have talked about 8-9 just because of the fact 8-9, 89, 8-9 last year. We obviously saw, what was that? That wasn't Speak Now. That was 1989 announcement in Los Angeles. So will she do something again on the same date? Probably not. I'm going to say less than 13% chance. Way less than 13% chance. I just don't see it happening. Now, 9/13 and 12/13 are dates that we have talked about ad nauseum. The reason why is they are both Fridays, and they are both obviously 13th. 12/13 has been a date on our radar since the Torture Poets Ferment pop-up because we know it's Taylor's birthday. We know that the pop-up, we saw a calendar that pointed us to Friday, December 13th, which we know has to be a 2024 date because next year it's not Friday on the 13th of December. Does that make sense? So anyways, those are kind of the dates that are like on my radar, but this is where things get interesting. And I'm going to link a video for you guys that I saw. I really like this guy on TikTok. He does like he does like music, I don't know what to call it, data analysis. Like he does like studies of like the Billboard charts. He kind of talks about like artists and their success based on their streaming numbers or their album sales. I really like his content. It's very digestible and he's adorable. So he talked about the fact that Taylor, he kind of was doing an analysis of like the fact that she's been charting now for, 11 weeks straight. Torture Poets Department is still ranking number 1 for like album sales, streams, all that jazz. And that doesn't even have to do with like the album variants because that doesn't really account for these numbers. But basically what he was saying is if she can continue to chart for 3 more weeks, like basically this week, next week, the week after, so basically going into the end of July, if she can continue to chart Torture Poets Department till then, she will break the all-time record for charts and like streaming consecutive weeks. This is like the all-time record. Adele was previously holding this record. She currently is tied and or just surpassed Adele for like the female most streamed. I think the Beatles were another one, and I'm blanking on the other person she was kind of teetering the chart number with. But basically, my point with bringing this up is that I do not think she will release anything before August, announce or release anything, because she's not going to want to take the attention away from Torture Poets Department, because we know our girl loves to break a record, and this would be a pretty crazy one to break. So that's why my thoughts are like, okay, eyeballs are on August onward at this point. And that's kind of my thought, and I'll leave you with that. Now let's go ahead and transition to our Swiftie submissions. I asked you guys to basically tell me what you guys think, and you guys had some great thoughts. You guys came in very hot with the opinions. So let's just go ahead and go down the list that I have and kind of talk through them together. So the first one is from Kiara. And Kiara said, I fully believe the theory that we are either getting Taylor Swift Taylor's version or Reputation Taylor's version this year, announced sometime in the next few months, and possibly coming out on her birthday. I agree with you, Kiara. TTPD will have had just as much time as Midnight's, which she states Midnight's had October 2022 to May 2023, being 8 months. And if an announcement is in September to October, Torture Poets Department would have had an era spanning 6 to 7 months. This means that we would be right around the same time for a new re-record, especially with the theory that she wants to get these re-records over with since we had no music video for 1989. I think it's too soon to decide which re-record will be first, but of course I'm hoping for Reputation. Okay, I like this, and the math is mathing for me here, so let's revisit that for a second. Midnight's era lasted 8 months, October to May. If an announcement for whatever's happening next happens September to October, Torture Poets Department will have had an era of 6 to 7 months. I like this. I like this a lot. And I think it's interesting that even if this comes to be true, even in that shorter period of time, Torture Poets Department will have broken crazy amount of records. So basically six months is like the lifespan of this album. If we really do get something this fall, and it will have shattered all of those records and her entire pre-discography, pre-Torture Poets Department discography, which is absolutely crazy. So love your thinking, Kiara. Also living for the math because I am a math girly. Next is from Alaya. I hope I'm saying your name right. Alaya said, so I'm thinking maybe possible Rep TV announcement on September 13th. I like this. I mentioned this date earlier because in the Torture Poets Department vinyl, the poem by Stevie Nicks has a date on it, and it says September 13th. I really don't know if that's an Easter egg, but I mean, it's possible. Honestly, anything's possible. So I don't think this is wild or crazy. And I like the idea of an announcement on September 13th, release on her birthday. But then my question is, when does debut happen? Next year? I mean, I guess it could be that debut is that chunk of dates and then next year would be the following. My only other plausible explanation for this September-December situation is one gets released on one, another gets released on the other, or a double announcement, double drop. So like September, she announces a double release. December, it happens. My only issue with the double drop of these is that like reputation will overshadow 1,000,000%. So my thought is if it were to be September 1st and then December, September would be debut. It would have a 3-month lifespan. September, October, November. Yeah. 3-month lifespan. And then December would be reputation. And that would just like blow her charts up for the next 2025. That's kind of the boat that I'm swimming in. Let's hear from Peyton. So Peyton said, I think that Rep TV will be announced on the last London show in August. So that is London is August 20th is the last show. After London, she has a 2-month break. We talked about that earlier, which is the same amount of time between when she announced Tortured Poets and when it was released. I also have had this thought and I like this. I think she will announce it in London and then release it on September 13th. Okay, this is interesting. This is kind of building off what we just said. This is the first Friday the 13th of the year. The other Friday the 13th is her birthday in December. It's almost like you guys all like planned to submit these together. I kind of love it. So perhaps a debut release. I think she will own all her re-records before the end of the tour so she can start fresh. So yes, this is another interesting theory. Let's push it back to August. She still has time to beat the record for the charting. The Grammys cutoff, she would be fine because she would just be making an announcement in August. She wouldn't be releasing anything. I also think the Grammy cutoff is August 20th, I believe, but that doesn't really matter because I don't think she's releasing TS12 and her re-records. She doesn't submit for the Grammys. We've already established this. So let's kind of build these two theories together. August 20th, last show in London, announcement, takes a break. We see the release of one of the debutation, whichever one, Friday the 13th, and then debut in December. I like this. My only beef with this theory is debut coming out at the end of the tour, the end of the year. Reputation's still going to be only 3 months old. Will debut have a short-lived moment of excitement? Or will there be a lot of media attention surrounding debut if it were to come out on her birthday? Because there will be so much attention on the fact that like this was a gajillion dollar generating tour. It broke every record possible. It, was the peak of her career, all of these things. Will debut tie seamlessly into that? Perhaps. And I'm not mad at that theory either. I'm kind of loving that we're like all on the same page. So Ellie W is next. And Ellie W said she saw this theory on Instagram today. This girl realized that Taylor Swift currently has 660 posts on Instagram. And if she posted 6 more times, obviously that would lead up to her London show, which is interesting. This is crazy how these are all like in order and kind of all work together. Lead up to her London show. And by then she would have 666 posts on Instagram, which hello, reputation. This is an interesting call out. I like the fact that we're tying in the 6s and tying in the fact that we know she's got 5 shows in London. Okay, so I'm looking at the dates here. And I think if she has 6 more posts left, that would put us at a post for Switzerland, a post for Italy, a post for Germany, a post for Poland, Australia, and then what you're saying is England. The only way that this would get messed up is if she's going to 3 different cities in Germany. Yes, 3 different cities, Munich, Hamburg, and Gelsenkirchen. So unless she did a post for each of those, which I don't think she would, then you're correct. This would end us in London. So I like this theory of the posts and everything lining up there with the number 6. This next one, and I think we'll end with Athena, because we have a really good theory going here, is Athena said Megan BJL on Instagram got an interesting photo of what seems to be the new green The Man blazer. It seems to be hanging next to the tangerine jacket. This is very interesting because I looked at the photo. I'm going to repeat that for you. Megan BJL on Instagram. And I think what we'll do is we'll post this photo on the Swiftie School Instagram so you guys can see it. So make sure to just head to Swiftie School Podcast on Instagram and we will post the photo. Or I will post the photo. I don't know who we is. Me and my assistant, Sarah. We'll get the photo posted there. But this photo is very telling. It's like kind of looks like the rack of clothes. And it most definitely does look like a green bedazzled jacket. My question is, when would the jacket come into play? What date would it come into play? I mean, the last show in London. It's kind of what I'm thinking, unless prior to that. But this has my head spinning. And I love clowning with you guys. This is my favorite thing. I always do every Monday over my Instagram. I do a Q&A, ask me anything. And someone asked me today, like, hey, are we done clowning? Are we done? And I'm like, absolutely not. Are you new here? Oh, gosh. I want to give you guys a quick reminder about a couple of things. You can watch the episodes over on YouTube if you haven't already. And the fun thing about that is obviously you can see my face. Hi. And if you want to watch it on your TV, it's easy to do that with the YouTube app or your iPad or whatever. Or if you have like an icon in your Tesla or something, if you want to watch it while you're pumping your gas, whatever, you could do that on YouTube. And then over on Patreon, I have an upcoming clown call, which is really, really fun. If you're a new listener, quick recap on clown calls is essentially, if you join my Patreon, I have 4 different tiers: sorority, senior, junior, and sophomore. Each of those tiers have different benefits, but if you join the senior or sorority tier, you can join my monthly clown calls. I do 2 a month, and these clown calls are held on Google Meet. They're so super fun. We just literally it's an extension of the podcast, but instead of just me talking, we have all sorts of discussion topics. If anything crazy has happened, like Travis coming on stage, we'll all debrief and chitter chatter about it. There are literally people who are 9 years old and people who are 50 plus on the call. It does not matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what gender you are. Everybody's welcome. It is so, so much fun. And you can pay $10 or $19.89 depending on what tier you want to join for joining the clown calls. Of course, if you have more of a budget of $2, I have an option for that too. So check it out. Patreon, patreon.com/swiftieschool. Make sure you guys submit any additional clowning theories, thoughts, Easter eggs, all that jazz. Let me know if you have any guests that you would like me to bring on the podcast or back to the podcast. As always, it is another great day to be alive at the same time as Taylor Swift, and I had the time of my life clowning with you today. Thanks so much, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!